Tonight on EKB Evening News at 6, residents of Kewanee Road continues to wait for answers. Good evening, I'm Gary Sloan.
And I'm Cindy Mae Johnson.
And we will get to a story regarding Kewanee Road shortly, in just a moment. But first, we have breaking news that's happening at this time. Pikeville Fire and Police Department personnel on the scene of a fire on Williams Hollow off Town Mountain Road. No injuries have been reported. However, Williams Hollow will be closed for the next couple of hours. Once again, that is just into the newsroom. Pikeville Fire and Police Department personnel on the scene of a fire on Williams Hollow on Town Mountain Road.
Of course, we'll keep you apprised
Absolutely.
as we get more details. There are still no answers for those who live on Kewanee Road in Pike County. Landslides at each end of the road have reduced the only way to and from their homes to a single treacherous lane winding along the side of a mountain. City and county leaders hope to get some good news later this week. EKB News reporter Shannon Deskins brings us more.
Pike County officials are anxiously awaiting the results of their appeal to CSX to build a temporary access road for the residents of Kewanee Road. In the past few weeks, both ends of the road have collapsed, leaving residents to travel on what everyone agrees are very dangerous road conditions. Construction of a new bridge in the city of Pikeville is scheduled to begin this summer, which would have closed one side of the road anyway. And county officials say they don't have the funding available to fix the slide on their end. But everyone agrees something needs to be done soon.
It's an urgent matter that needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. Limited access going in, coming out. There needs to be something done to get access out there until they can get the road fixed. It's going to take a while to do any kind of repair to it.
A temporary solution would be creating an access road around the slide on the city's end that would run adjacent to the railroad tracks for approximately 7/10 of a mile. However, the first request to build that road was denied last week by CSX Railroad. An appeal has been filed, and everyone hopes for an answer sometime this week.
Everybody's waiting on the appeal to CSX and see if that goes through. If we can get the temporary access road granted, just if it's just a short period of time, that would give them an opportunity to work on that other road, because it's going to have to be closed and they'll have to have an alternate way out of there.
If CSX allows the access road to be constructed, city and county officials say they will work together to get it open in just a few days. But if the appeal is denied, county officials say their only option will be to see if there's any emergency money available from the state to fund the repairs to the existing road. For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Shannon Deskins.
County man will spend 9 months in a federal prison after pleading guilty to lying to a grand jury. Ray D. Hagens of Martin was indicted last June based on his testimony to a federal grand jury. Hagens had testified that Martin Mayor Sam Howell and Anthony Castle had offered him $90 to vote for Howell in the 2012 Martin mayor's race. In January, Hagens admitted that testimony was false and pleaded guilty. Last week, U.S. District Judge Danny C. Reeves ordered him to be incarcerated for 9 months. The grand jury had been investigating allegations of vote buying in the Martin mayor's race. That investigation ultimately led to the former Martin mayor, Ruth Thomasine Robinson, being convicted of conspiracy and vote buying last year. Robinson lost her race to Howell by 3 votes. Hagens will remain free until he reports to prison June 29th.
Fishtrap Lake holds a spring cleanup every year. After this year's winter storms, the need was greater than ever. On Saturday, work crews and volunteers teamed up to beautify the lake. EKB News reporter Shelby Steele attended the cleanup and brings us this report.
Many contributors and volunteers came together Saturday in a joint effort to help clean up Fishtrap Lake. The event is hosted every year, but this year was important due to extra debris and trash brought on by the severe weather this winter.
The storms showed its ugly head. We still got a problem in Pike County.
Pike County Pride Director Jimmy Dale Sanders says most of the cleanup could be prevented if Pike County and surrounding counties would stop littering.
We just need to keep it cleaned up, and as you can see, a lot of this is 85% is wooded debris or 90%, but we still got the man-made we're dealing with, so we still got a great problem in the county with not all from Pike County, but we have a problem in Pike County with our man-made materials, bottles and all this stuff getting into our waterways and getting into making an ugly eyesore that it's making all over the county as we've seen this last washout come out.
Coordinator Karen Smith says this event helps with recreation in the county.
People realized that there was a lot of damage from the flooding up here. You know, the water flow comes from Claypool Hill, and they had a lot of trash come through here. And for recreation, for boating, for kayaking, for skiing, fishing, this is one of the greatest fishing lakes that you'll ever go on. And for all of those reasons, we want it cleaned up so that it's usable and that doesn't cause any damage to boats and things like that.
The annual Fishtrap Lake cleanup was started in 1990 by boaters and has since then continued. Pike County Pride President Kent Stacy says he is happy with the turnout this year.
I just want to thank all the volunteers today that showed up. I believe we've got one of the biggest crowds today that we've had.
For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Shelby Steele.
Mountain Water District is planning a water outage tomorrow along Raccoon Creek in Pike County. The outage is necessary to replace a water main. It will affect the area from Raccoon Creek to the mouth of Frozen Creek and all sideline, but not Frozen Creek itself. The outage is expected to last from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and affect 296 customers. Once the service is restored, the area will be subject to boil water advisory. Water used for drinking or cooking should be boiled for at least 3 minutes until further notice.
A Pike County man is dead after an ATV wreck that occurred late Saturday night. Kentucky State Police say 53-year-old Gordon Guzlin of McCarr was operating a Honda ATV at an idle mine site at Phelps when the vehicle overturned, causing him to be ejected. Guzlin was airlifted to Pikeville Medical Center but later died of his injuries. He was not wearing a helmet at the time of the accident, and alcohol may have been a contributing factor. The ongoing investigation is being conducted by Trooper Chase Maynard.
A Perry County man is dead after a Sunday night confrontation with Kentucky State Police troopers. Troopers had responded to a camper on Chavies in response to a report of gunshots. Troopers attempted to make contact with 53-year-old Michael Asher of Chavies, who was inside the camper. Now, according to police, Asher began ranting toward the troopers but refused to come out and speak with them. A short time later, Asher opened the camper door and pointed a gun toward them, at which time they opened fire, killing him. No one else was injured. An autopsy has been scheduled at the State Medical Examiner's office in Frankfort, and the incident remains under investigation.
Coming up, average people got a hint of Indiana Jones at a presentation in Pikeville over the weekend.
And Combs Airport between Prestonsburg and Paintsville played host to a different type of flying. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Friday night, locals had the rare chance to learn firsthand from a well-respected international scholar. Biblical archaeologist Dr. Gabriel Barkai spoke to a packed house at the First Presbyterian Church in Pikeville. EKB News reporter Courtney Lovern attended the event and tells us more.
At the First Presbyterian Church in Pikeville on Friday evening, the community was given the chance to interact with one of the most renowned archaeologists of our time. Dr. Gabriel Barkai was invited by Tommy Chamberlain and the University of Pikeville Alumni Association to come and speak about the Temple Mount sifting project he has been working on in Jerusalem.
It is scrutinizing enormous quantities of soil which was illicitly removed from the Temple Mount, and that soil includes in it artifacts from the history of Jerusalem. Actually, that soil is saturated with the history of Jerusalem.
He and his fellow colleagues have uncovered hundreds of thousands of finds in the soil where the Holy Temple lay hundreds of years ago. Barkai mentioned that they are currently studying the artifacts they have gathered and also explained how this project was developed.
Directing it as a result of two of my former students who one day showed up in my place at home, and they came with finds that they collected on the surface of some dumping site whereto this soil from Temple Mount was taken.
He went to his university authorities after the students mentioned the temple site to him, and now, 10 years later, the project is halfway finished. The speech on Friday night was the second of 3 presentations by Barkai, and he is hoping the events will help raise money to examine the artifacts more closely and continue the project. Some Pikeville residents have even assisted with the venture.
Thanks to about 250,000 of volunteers that we had through this last 10 years participating in the sifting project. Among them, there were many people from Kentucky. I even saw some people here today who participated in the sifting project in Jerusalem.
Barkai expects the project to potentially last 10 more years, and he truly appreciates all the help he has received thus far. Reporting for EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Courtney Levering.
Well, Saturday was Derby Day, but not everyone is into horses. For those people, the arm drop drag race was held at Combs Airport in Floyd County. EKB News reporter Shelby Steele was there.
The Combs Airport Arm Drop Drags hosted its first annual drag race Saturday. Cars and trucks got the chance to test and tune Friday in order to gear up for the event on Saturday. Chairman Grady Underwood says this event is something different that people from all over can enjoy.
It gives the people in this area a place to go. A lot of people don't ride horses or fish or hunt or whatever. There's a lot of street racers that keeps them off the street, and it takes them to a good controlled environment where they can have fun at a low price and everybody can enjoy it.
During the test and tune Friday, a car lost a transmission, making it a long night for Tyler Compton, who has been racing for nearly 8 years.
Got to the big end down there and it split into about 4 different pieces. A good buddy of mine sold me one real cheap, and we stayed up to 5 putting it in. Somehow got it together.
Compton adds racing is tradition in his family.
I've been drag racing for probably 5 years now. I've raced go-karts for 3 or 4 years before then. But my dad done it before that. It's been in my blood all my life, I guess.
For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Shelby Steele.
Coming up in just a bit, a new class for the U-Pike Athletic Hall of Fame. Jamie Johnson will be here to tell us about it.
But first, EKB Chief Meteorologist Lathan Hopkins will be in to give us a look at the week ahead. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
All I can say is, gosh, what a great day. Weather-wise, yeah.
Calendar says May, but it's feeling a little more like June with temperatures today in the low to mid 80s. That trend is going to continue all the way through the work week. Take a look at temperatures right now, and we are still at 84 degrees right now in downtown Pikeville. 83 Prestonsburg, 83 in Inez, 84 Painesville. A little cooler to the south, Grundy, Wise, both checking in at 77 degrees. And right now we have 81. Over in Dorton, the official high today topped out at 82 degrees, as a matter of fact. Had a few clouds and even a few showers in northern parts of the state, but across eastern Kentucky, western West Virginia, southwest Virginia, things stayed pretty nice with partly sunny skies. Now, as far as what you can expect over the next day or so, we do have a system to the north providing that cloud cover and those showers stretching from parts of Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, back toward Missouri. Big Blue H in control of the forecast. What does that mean? Well, it means you're going to get out and enjoy this weather because it is going to be sunny skies and very warm as we get our winds from the south and from the west. It's going to bring in some of that warmer air from the Gulf of Mexico and also keep this front to the north. So that's definitely some good news. We're going to get some dry weather here over the next couple of days. But what we watch, especially late week and into the weekend, an area of low pressure expected to develop off the southeast coast. This could become something tropical. Now, hurricane season in the Atlantic, not until June 1st, but it is not out of the ordinary for a storm to develop in May. Something that we'll have to watch is exactly not only if it makes landfall, but how far inland it goes. Could bring a few showers our way, depending on the exact track. And of course, that's something that we will be watching here very closely over the next couple of days. As far as the pollen count goes, sponsored by Faith Pharmacy, Adams Plaza in Pikeville, 9.4 for tomorrow, and then into the extreme category Wednesday into Thursday, going near 11 as a matter of fact by Wednesday. The predominant pollens right now, maple, sycamore, and oak. That 5-day forecast, temperatures mid and upper 80s. Yeah, that's very possible, especially as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Introduce the slight chance of those pop-up showers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And as I mentioned, we have to watch that system off the East Coast as well. So the forecast for the late week into the weekend could change. Something to watch.
Just like June.
It is indeed.
As you said.
We'll keep a close eye on that system, though.
And we'll be back with sports in 2 minutes. Well, it was a big weekend on Pike campus.
That it was indeed. Alumni back in and the sports season ending. Another season of Pike athletics coming to a close. It was Hall of Fame weekend on the campus of Pike as the 2015 athletic season came to an end with the Bears' annual awards banquet. This year's Hall of Fame class featured one team that set the cornerstone for the men's basketball program and 2 individual honorees, all of whom have left their mark on the Pike campus. Our own Michaela Colley was there.
The University of Pikeville held their annual athletics banquet, where they have inducted 3 new members to the Athletics Hall of Fame that was established in 1989 to honor the contributions from the members to the athletics program. This year's class includes Lindsey Durham, a member of the 2004 Women's Bowling National Championship team, former women's basketball coach Bill Watson, and the 2000-2001 Pikeville College men's basketball team. Lindsey Durham earned her individual spot as a Hall of Famer after the entire 2004 women's bowling team was inducted into the 2011's class.
You know, when I sat down to gather my thoughts for today, I was really flooded with things to say and people to thank. But most importantly, I was overwhelmed with the memories of my 3 years at Pikeville.
After graduation, Durham pursued a career as a pharmacist and is married with 4 children. Bill Watson was the 6th head coach in Pikeville College women's basketball history in 1997.
Again, it is a tremendous humbling experience to be here. And for the Hall of Fame people that are in here in attendance, it is my honor to be mentioned in the same breath that you are. Thank you.
Watson is currently the head girls basketball coach at Bourbon High School in Paris, Kentucky. The 2000-2001 men's basketball team was the last to be inducted for the 2015 class. Head coach Randy McCoy led them to receive a number of achievements and make the program's first appearance in the NAIA Fab Four in 2001.
And we're just excited that this honor has come for these guys, because that was a big, just a big accomplishment to make it through the Mid-South Conference, win the regular season, the conference tournament, and then get really close to win the national championship. But what a special group of guys.
The banquet also included conference and national academic and athletic awards presented to the student athletes during the 2014-2015 season. For EKB Evening News, I'm Michaela Colley.
Last week would have been Dale Earnhardt's 64th birthday, and no other driver in the history of NASCAR has been more successful at Talladega than the Intimidator was. Dale Sr. won a series record 10 times at Talladega, and nothing would have made dear old Dad more proud than to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. place the family name in winner's circle. Race 10 of the NASCAR Sprint Cup schedule, the Geico 500, rode off yesterday in Alabama. This race always features the big one. This one came courtesy of Trevor Bayne, lap 47, causing a 15-car pileup. Let's clean up on aisle 5, spilt milk, and some crying babies. A 10-minute red flag stopping the race. It's one of 6 cautions on the afternoon. Final lap, everyone making their move. Carl Edwards in the 19 here. He will spin. Officials decide not to wave the caution flag. It's going to be checkers and wreckers to the finish line. Yet this day would belong to Dale Earnhardt Jr., who led 67 laps. Jr. would hold off the field for his 24th career victory. Jr. reflected on his superspeedway victory and family legacy.
Dad's success, he won so many races here, and I love to be able to, I think about all the races he won here and at Daytona, and I love when we go to Victory Lane because I just feel like I add to his legacy there. All I ever want to do is make him proud, and I feel like that when we win at those tracks where he was successful, that's exactly what we're doing. You know, so you'll get up there and get the lead, and you know you're delivering upon the promise, and that you're going to run hard and run good, and you just can't get satisfied.
Finally, with 256 players drafted by NFL teams over the weekend, you can surmise that each draftee has a unique story to share. Yet none may have been more challenging than the story of UCLA defensive end Ola Odigwuzuwa, who was selected in the 3rd round by the New York Giants. His father, Peter Odigwuzuwa, is currently serving 3 life sentences at Virginia's Red Onion State Prison in Pound for 3 counts of capital murder. Ola hasn't spoken to his father since the 2002 conviction for killing a student, faculty member, and college dean of the Appalachian School of Law in Grundy. His mother and 3 brothers left Virginia shortly after the trial when Ola was only 9 years old, moving to Oregon, hoping to restart their lives. Ola was second team Pac-12 last season, led UCLA in tackles for loss. Got to tell you, he's going to have a pretty big impact on the Giants come next season. It's a good, feel-good story.
What an amazing story for him. And so many of us remember that event. It was a big one.
We'll be back in 2 minutes. And the warm weather continues.
Does indeed. Temperatures tonight back in the 50s and then right back into the 80s by tomorrow afternoon, 85 degrees, and that's pretty much where we stay all the way through the rest of the week.
Nice.
Good news, though. The air conditioning's working well in the studio for sports guys tonight.
Very good news indeed, and a lot of sports to talk about tonight at 7 o'clock.
All right, make sure you see that.
That will do it for tonight's EKB Evening News. Remember, you can get more local news anytime by listening to the radio stations of East Kentucky Broadcasting.
And you can follow EKB News and EKB TV on Facebook and Twitter. Good night. Thanks for watching.